Good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. Gentle reminder, as always, knock up like button, subscribe, and share. We're talking that big match. Big match last night involving the Jamaica Reggae Boyz and Argentina. Unfortunately, a 3-0 loss. The Reggae Boyz would have suffered at the hands, or rather at the feet, of the Argentinians. Honestly, I don't think the result did the Reggae Boyz justice, to be honest with you, right? I don't think this was a 3-0 game, to be honest with you, right? I think the scoreline is very harsh on the Reggae Boyz, especially given the circumstances. The boys would have, gone into this game playing under, right? I think that the Reggae Boyz did better than many of us, certainly myself, would have anticipated, would have expected. Seeing, new coach, he only had 2 training sessions with the boys, and it is Argentina. It's a top 5 ranked team in the world, a team that is heavily favored to win the World Cup, which is only a matter of weeks away. Seeing the game, as I said, 3-0 loss, Argentina winning the game by Reggae Boyz losing 3-0. The Argentinian starting formation was a 4-3-3. It evolved in build-up into a 2-3-2-3 with both the fullbacks moving in the midfield to join. If I'm not mistaken, it was Rodriguez in the midfield, and 2 of the midfielders, including Lo Celso, would have stepped up higher up the pitch to be basically attacking midfielders, sort of, and then you had the front 3. And for the Reggae Boyz, the starting formation was also a 4-3-3, and especially when high pressing, it was a 4-3-3, and then in defensive transition in the mid to low block, it was a 4-4-2. A bit surprising. I understand why Boza would have played, right? Some might have been surprised by it, in terms of there were times in the game when Boza was playing as a winger. Seeing the run of play, I thought the first 10 minutes of the game, the Reggae Boyz did very well. They got out and got at them, got at the Argentinians, right? It was high pressing them, playing the game in the Argentinian half, winning the ball in advanced areas of the pitch, right? And the Argentinians kind of struggled to deal with that a bit, right? And to be fair, anytime the Reggae Boyz did I press them, the Argentinians, did not as well as I expected they would have, dealing with our high press, right? So the first 10 minutes was very good from the Reggae Boyz. However, after that, Argentina kind of really started taking control of the game. The goal as well that Argentina scored would have helped them to really, settle the game, and take control of the game. The goal was a very soft goal. To be fair, it was an extremely soft goal. They broke the lines far too easily. Damian Lowe, the main culprit on the goal, even though it was a series of defensive errors, in my humble opinion. But, Damian Lowe was the main culprit, and the goal was just a very soft goal, and we should not have conceded it. But that goal helped to, change the tide, so to speak, and, really allowed Argentina to take control. And the next 20-25 minutes, it was wave after wave after wave. Argentina really and truly took control of the game, and it was very difficult for the Reggae Boyz. The occasional counter-attack, occasional, play where the Reggae Boyz was trying to break or evade the Argentinian press and keep possession of the football for as long as they possibly could. Right, there were moments where that occurred, but for the most part, it was wave after wave. But the last 10 minutes of regular time plus, the couple of minutes in extra time, the Reggae Boyz really took control of the possession of the football game. Really took control of the possession, not a lot of vertical passes, not a lot of progression of the football, not a lot of playing through the respective thirds and breaking the lines. They never really got up to the final third much. Even when they did get up to the final third, it was a bit scrappy. But at least they were playing a lot of lateral passes, evading the high press of the Argentinians. You can't press forever. Eventually, the Argentinians would tire and desist from the high press, move into mid to low block. And the Reggae Boyz were able for that 10 minutes, plus when you add the extra time, to really control possession of the game. Argentina was really struggling for that last 10 minutes to really recapture or regain control of the game. Right? They were trying. It's not that they weren't trying, they were trying, but they struggled to regain control of the game. And then the second half would have come. In the second half, I thought the Reggae Boyz did very well. Certainly, they continued the last 10 minutes of the first half. They brought that over into the second half, right? And they were even more competitive, right? We saw more progression of the football, more forward passes, more breaking of the lines, more progression to the thirds, that sort of thing. And I think for large portions of the second half, it was mostly even Stevens, right? In terms of, well, I shouldn't go as far as saying even Stevens, but the Reggae Boyz were far more competitive, right? Not a lot of goal mouth action on the part of the Reggae Boyz. And truth be told, not many real clear-cut chances from the Argentinians either. It was like a battle for the midfield, so to speak, for large portions of that second half, probably around 30 or so minutes of the second half, and then the last 15 minutes of the second half. It was, the Messi show began. The Lionel Messi show began. The alleged GOAT, seeing, the ball god, certainly one of the most, if not the most technical footballer I have ever seen, technically gifted footballer I have ever seen. Came on in the 56th minute, had some sparks here and there, but really took control of the football game in that last 15 or so minutes. Scored 2 wonderful goals and was playing the role of controller, getting on the ball, having given goals between his teammates, breaking the lines. He would make the pass, move into space, receive the return pass to break the lines or get by a player. That sort of thing, really playing the role of a controller in the middle of the park. Came up with 2, these good goals, to be fair. However, I think there were also soft goals. I think we could have done better on those 2 Lionel Messi goals. There were errors on both goals the Reggae Boyz should have done better on, but it's the Lionel Messi show, and it is very, very difficult to put a stop to the Lionel Messi show, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, footballer this world has ever seen. This possession stats surprised me a little bit, right? You look on your screen, you see the layout of both teams on your screen. We go down now to the possession stats. The possession stats kind of surprised me a bit, right? You can't see it on your screen right now, but in the first half, the possession stats were the Reggae Boyz had 34% of the possession to Argentina 66% of the possession. But what really surprised me is not the first half possession stats never really surprised me. The second half possession stats surprised me, right? A lot of these credible platforms had the Reggae Boyz possession stats at 30% in the second half, right? To Argentina 70%. That really, really, really shocked and surprised me. The run of play didn't feel like we had only 30% possession of the football in the second half. So I don't understand how weird that stat would have come from her. It really never felt like that. The Reggae Boyz, in my humble opinion, in the second half were far more competitive in the run of play than in the first half. See, in the end, you see the stats on your screen there. The possession stats ended with the, well, you're not seeing it on your screen right now. Let me see if I can go up It's not here either. But in the end, the possession stats for the Reggae Boyz was 67% to Argentina in favor of 33% for the Reggae Boyz. So, given the 37%, no, it was 37% in the first half for the Reggae Boyz compared to Argentina 63. Yeah, so given the position that we had in the first half, I thought it would have improved to in the 40s by the time the game ended, given what we did in the second half. But that's clearly, that's not the case according to the possession stats. So I can't really wrap my brain around that. One of the main things that I want to talk about in this particular game is a pattern of play that causes a lot of problems in the central zone. The Argentinians were progressing the ball through the central zone, right? And through that central zone where our central midfielders, Daniel Johnson and Ravel Morrison, was occupying. Now, what they would do is the two central midfielders who moved up to in attacking midfield positions would peel off the back to the sides of our central midfielders, Daniel Johnson and Ravel Morrison, right? Move into space, get on the end of passing channels and receive midfield line breaking passes from either the Argentina deeper midfielders, the fullbacks that moved into midfield, or the Argentinian centre backs. Seeing this pattern of play created a ton load of problems for us the entire game, right? It allowed Argentina to try and exploit areas out wide by moving the play out wide. Argentina enjoying possession in front of our defensive line, putting our defense line under more pressure, that sort of a thing, right? One would think that a more defensive-minded midfielder would have helped to, counter that, right? DJ and Ravel clearly aren't defensive-minded midfielders, but that was a pattern of play that was giving us problems the entire game, breaking our midfield line. DJ Ravel really didn't do much about it. Another thing I want to talk about quickly, I think one of the main talking points for me as well is the forwards. Our forwards, Mikel Antonio, Shamar Nicholson, could have done better, far better in holding up the play and helping to bring the Reggae Boyz further up the pitch. Shamar Nicholson in particular was absent for basically almost the entire game. Mikel Antonio had sparks from time to time. Another thing I want to talk about very quickly, another main talking point for me, Andre Blake. His distribution, I thought he could have done better on some of the goals, but his distribution was top-notch, top quality, top class, helped us to evade the pressure, the high press of the Argentinians on a number of plays with his impressive distribution. It was very good in this particular game. In another upcoming video I'm going to talk a little bit about Jaime Hallgrimsson as well, We need to talk about the new gaffer scene. That's my 2 cents. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. Take care and stay safe, guys.